What if I told you that one of Manchester United's most debated forwards, once labeled the future of Old Trafford, is now preparing to make a stunning move to Mexico? That's right, Anthony Martial, the French striker who arrived in England as a teenager with the world at his feet, is set to join Monterrey in Liga MX. This transfer isn't just a headline. It's a story of unexpected turns, unfulfilled potential, glimmers of brilliance, and a new chapter far away from the spotlight of Europe. Today, let's dive deep into Martial's journey, from the promise he showed in France, to his highs and lows at Manchester United, to his latest move that will see him line up alongside legends in Mexico. Anthony Martial was born in the town of Massy in France, just outside Paris, in December 1995. He grew up in a football-loving family and joined the Academy of Olympique Lyonnais at a young age. Lyon, known for producing French talents like Karim Benzema and Alexander Lacazette, quickly recognized Martial's raw pace, dribbling ability, and eye for goal. Coaches at the youth level would often describe him as calm, almost expressionless, but with an instinct in front of goal that separated him from others his age. He made his senior debut for Lyon in 2013, still a teenager. And although he didn't get much game time, scouts across Europe had already started circling. It was AS Monaco who would swoop in the following year. Monaco, then building an ambitious project with young stars, brought Martial into their setup. Over 3 seasons, Martial developed his reputation as one of the most exciting forwards in Ligue 1. His speed, ability to take on defenders, and composure in the box quickly made him a fan favorite. But his breakthrough moment came not in France, but in England, when Manchester United shocked the football world by signing him in 2015 for £35 million, a fee that could rise with the Dons. For context, at the time, Martial was just 19 years old, largely unknown outside of Ligue 1, and instantly became the most expensive teenager in football history. The pressure was immense. English media questioned United's decision, labeling Martial a gamble, even calling him another overpriced French youngster. But Martial didn't take long to silence the doubters. On his Premier League debut, against none other than Liverpool at Old Trafford, he picked up the ball on the left wing, cut inside, and scored a stunning goal past Simon Mignolet. The commentary screamed his name, fans erupted in disbelief, and in that single moment, Anthony Martial announced himself to the Premier League. That debut goal is still replayed in highlight reels today, as one of the most iconic debuts in United history. For the next few years, Martial's career at Manchester United was a roller coaster. There were moments of brilliance, solo goals, electric runs down the left, clinical finishes, that reminded fans why he had been signed for such a high fee. In the 2019-20 season, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Martial enjoyed his best run, scoring 17 goals in the Premier League and forming a dangerous partnership with Marcus Rashford. United fans believed that finally Martial had arrived, that consistency was within reach. But just as often as he shined, Martial struggled with injuries, dips in form, and questions about his mentality. Critics accused him of lacking hunger, of disappearing in big games, and of not pushing himself to become world-class. Despite the criticism, Martial had achievements to his name at Old Trafford. Across 9 seasons, he played 209 Premier League matches and scored 63 goals. He lifted 3 major trophies: the FA Cup in 2016, the League Cup in 2017, and perhaps most significantly, the Europa League in 2017, when United defeated Ajax in Stockholm. He was not always the main man, but he was always there, part of the squad, part of the story. For a player many dismissed as inconsistent, Martial's longevity at one of the biggest clubs in the world is still impressive. Internationally, Martial earned 30 caps for the French national team, scoring twice. He was selected for the Euro 2016 squad, a tournament hosted in France, though he did not play a starring role. Competing for places against the likes of Antoine Griezmann, Olivier Giroud, and later Kylian Mbappé made it difficult for him to cement his place. Still, being part of a squad that reached the final of a European Championship is a major career milestone. Eventually, Martial's time at Manchester United came to an end. Injuries, younger players stepping up, and a shift in the club's direction meant he was no longer central to the plans. He spent time on loan at Sevilla, but the spell didn't work out as hoped. Last season, Martial moved to Greece to play for AEK Athens in the Super League. It was a surprising decision for many, but Martial wanted a fresh start away from the relentless scrutiny of English football. In Athens, he rediscovered some form, scoring 7 goals in 16 league matches. While not earth-shattering numbers, it was enough to prove that Martial still had quality, still had goals in him, and still had more chapters to write. Now comes the unexpected twist. Anthony Martial is set to join Monterrey, one of the biggest clubs in Mexico. According to Fabrizio Romano, the deal is essentially done. Monterrey, also known as Rayados, are a powerhouse in Liga MX. They have passionate fans, a history of success, and ambition that extends beyond domestic football, often competing in the CONCACAF Champions League. For Martial, this move represents both a challenge and an opportunity to become a marquee player in a new market, to reignite his career, and to bring European star power to Mexican football. What makes this story even more compelling is that Monterrey's captain is none other than Sergio Ramos, the legendary former Real Madrid and Spain defender. Ramos, one of the most decorated players of all time, is now in Mexico leading Rayados, and Martial will be joining him. Imagine that dynamic. Martial, the once record teenage signing from Manchester United, now playing alongside Ramos, the man who defined Real Madrid's defense for over a decade. For Monterrey fans, this is a dream, a combination of experience, talent, and global recognition. The move also highlights how Liga MX continues to attract big names. While Martial may not be in his prime years anymore, at just 29, he still has plenty to offer. His pace, finishing ability, and experience in Europe's top competitions will be invaluable. For Martial himself, this could be the fresh start he's been searching for, a chance to step out of the shadow of Old Trafford, to play without the burden of constant comparison, and to enjoy the game in front of some of the most passionate supporters in world football. As we reflect on Martial's career so far, one question always lingers. Did he fulfill his potential? When he burst onto the scene in 2015, many predicted he would become one of the best forwards in Europe. He had the tools, the speed, the technique, the composure. But football is rarely straightforward. Injuries, pressure, competition, and sometimes just luck can change the trajectory of a player's career. Some will say Martial never reached the heights expected of him. Others will point to his moments of brilliance, his iconic debut goal, his contributions in trophy-winning seasons, and argue that he did more than enough. Whatever side of the debate you're on, Martial's next move is fascinating. Monterrey is not just another stop. It's a new world. The culture, the league, the style of play, it will all be different. Yet Martial has the experience to adapt, and if he can stay fit, he could become a star in Liga MX, perhaps even a league-leading forward. This is not a retirement move, this is a chance for reinvention. And with Sergio Ramos as his captain, he'll have a leader beside him who knows what it takes to win at the highest level. For fans of Manchester United, seeing Martial in a Monterrey shirt will feel strange. The teenager they once hailed as the French Ronaldo is now across the Atlantic. But football careers are unpredictable, and Martial's story proves that the game takes players to unexpected places. What remains certain is that Martial's talent is undeniable, and his story isn't over yet. So as Anthony Martial prepares to land in Monterrey, the world will be watching, not with the same glare as Old Trafford, not with the same criticism of the English press, but with curiosity. Can the French forward write a new chapter of success in Mexico? Will we see the return of the Martial who once stunned Liverpool on his debut? Only time will tell. For now, one thing is clear. Anthony Martial's journey, from Lyon to Monaco, from Manchester United to Athens, and now to Monterrey, is one of the most intriguing careers in modern football. And in Liga MX, under the Mexican sun, he has the chance to show the world that his story is far from finished.